Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at Project Cold War. And we're actually going to show a agent that I haven't shown on my video series yet. This is Ray. Ray is a fire support, so think sniper or similar. It has even less health compared to Jaeger, for example. And the gun does more damage, believe it or not. We're going to talk through, this agent. It was in the battle pass that I was able to unlock it. I didn't invest anything in it. I'm attempting to try and understand the game deeply rather than shallow with regard to the agents. So I chose to level up the tanks to see how strong they can actually get. And I intend to do it with Ray. I know there are channels that have tried to unlock every single agent and tried them that way. So, there's different ways to approach it, obviously. And Ray is a unique one. So, Ray being fire support, you only have one ability on screen, which is smoke, obviously. Now, look at the way that the gun charges, basically. It charges up, and it can store up to 3 charges that it can then fire at a target and do massive damage. Obviously, you actually have to hit the target in order to do that damage. Did you notice how slow the turret traverses? This is very similar to... Oh, and of course we crit the rear. We're going to get crit in the rear. We don't have any health. This is not how you play. This is one of the first games that I ever played with Ray, and I have some experience that I can bestow on Notser of the past. So, Ray has a smoke cloud. That's it. When Ray takes damage, Ray basically spews out smoke. Like a little, squid, I guess. Squid and jellyfish. Not jellyfish. Squid and octopus are the ones that ink. Yeah, you basically ink your area with smoke. And it's not the best smoke. I think the enemy can still technically see you or at least discern something's happening. Like maybe your 3D model is hazy but not fully covered. Anyway, it's not something you want to rely on. What you want to rely more on is similar to the Jaeger, where you preemptively smoke in an area and you use your thermal to peer through it. So we bump into an attack unit. We're charging up. We've got 2 charges, and at the 3rd charge, it'll actually overcharge, and it will dot me until I release the charge. And I was so confused. What the heck? What's going on? So, first 2 charges don't induce any negatives. Oh yeah, I think they added some buff indicator in the world. Based on one of the feedback I saw, one of the hotfixes, it looks like there's an icon. But yeah, every time you get to the 3rd charge, the Ray induces self-damage. So you can't hold the overcharge for very long, but oh my god. Look at this chopper. We're going to wait for 3 charges, baby, and we're going to fire on him. Because, almost one-shot that guy. He had sustained a little bit of damage, and I believe he's not happy with us. Yep, we're taking fire. Need assistance! Taken out. That game was worth it just for that single shot. And that single shot is the quintessential reason why Ray is a relevant pick. It is probably the highest single damaging shot in the game, I think. Between all of the tanks, I can't think of a tank that can hit that hard. So this is probably the most one-shot friendly tank in the game. You can get a lot of one-shots with this tank, and I will showcase it over a couple games. But yeah, this overcharge, it will induce damage, and until you release it, you're just going to assist the enemy team in killing you. And I have to say, the Jaeger is a very good counter to Ray. Ray being a smoking tank. Ray is not very strong against Jaeger, but Jaeger can self-smoke and then peer through it. I can peer through the smoke, but he can also peer through me, and I have way less health than him, and he can maneuver and potentially... And yeah, I think the chopper does not like that I basically one-shot him. Sure, he never expected to take a 1900 point damaging salvo from the rear. But yeah, Ray is a very technical tank because you see how it works. Now, you cannot fire your gun until the charge reaches the lower line, and then you can have up to 3 charges. The triangle indication is just to show you that you are in the process of building up a charge so that you can fire. Each charge is worth 600 damage, I believe, and you can obviously assume that there is some, damage resistance or whatever. The shot's very straight. Oh. We gotta fire this quick. Okay, 1600, no crit. So it's a decent amount of damage, obviously, even if you don't crit. And, that'll set up for my teammates to take him out. But I just wanted to showcase this one because if you play it too close, it is not a tank that's designed to take damage. It will die very quickly. The turret traverse is very slow. It's a large hull. It has every downside possible in order to facilitate its gimmick, which is highest damage in the game with a single shot. And what overkill! We didn't even need that. That's okay. We'll just sit in our thermal with our smoke on. Similar to the Jaeger, and we're going to find any shadow tanks that are assaulting, and I really want to wait for the third overcharge because it just is so devastating, and he didn't need it either. Overcharge as well. It's funny. The smoke thermal denies you clarification on the hit points of anyone if you're in your smoke, and in doing that, you kind of make yourself less efficient with your charging. So, yeah, the smoke charge mechanically doesn't synergize as well as maybe Jaeger does with smoke. But yeah, we got 4 tanks destroyed, and our team was completely wiped out on that one. Not the one that I really wanted to showcase. We've got other games. This time we've got a plant/defuse 5 versus 5. Now, you might imagine having this kind of alpha in a one-life game can be very challenging to accept. Because you're going to see just how devastating this can be to a one-life meta. All the game that we were playing before was a unlimited life. So snipers are less valuable in an unlimited life map type. I think it's pretty obvious because snipers get the first potential kill, and with every subsequent kill, they will have to either relocate, so the person that they did wipe out won't have a bead on their location. Whereas in a single life scenario, I never have to worry about that person ever again. So I have a clear advantage in my ability to damage. So our teammate takes damage, and I recognize that, so I activate the first charge. Also smoke out. No need to give them free damage. Just want them to question what the smoke could be. Now, I have tried to unload or induce a reload cycle on my gun, and I have not been successful. So you basically have to let it charge. So once it charges, though, it works very well. Works exceedingly well, and it has a very high potential pin. I don't know that it's obvious to the opposing agents that my charge is more powerful. Maybe the gun highlights. I haven't really clarified that. In the comments, if you know more about Ray, please tell me. But Ray is very, very strong in a single life meta. Now, we take fire from the side. We get the warning system with smoke. And I'm just trying to fully charge and wait to ambush this guy with the gun. Is he still going to be in the area? Of course he's not going to be in the area. So we have to unload him. This is the downside. If you relocate, then you'll force the player to not have an optimal shot. Now, he only has 2. That's all we really needed. Obviously, crit the engine and knock him out completely. But it's really important that you understand the way this gun works. The gun does not come preloaded. You have to load the round actively, and you can manage 3 charges piled on one single round But in the third charge, it induces self-damage. So you will kill yourself by holding the overcharge. So you can't do that. So the obvious gameplay loop is you are constantly reloading this gun, and you are constantly trying to time it so that you get 3 charges when the target is not moving and showing a crit location, either fuel, engine, or ammo. And if you shoot one of those 3 locations, pretty much 99% of the agents will die in one shot. It's very strong in punishing that kind of misplay. So obviously we're going to use our teammates' armor. We do not have any here, and we're waiting to punish. I didn't get the third charge, a little greedy, but I didn't want to fire on the defender because the defender had a hull down position and he's got a lot of health. So even if I induce 3 charges, it's not going to overkill him. And he's about the only thing that won't die to a 3 charge, but we're going to try. And of course, ricochets off of the Atom. The Atom is the really potent tank that is an unlock after doing 10 missions or something like that. It's got the highest damaging gun in the game, and it's the hardest to damage because of its odd hull. It's got 4 treads, and it basically never stops moving. So yeah, obviously we get a double charge. Should have waited for the double charge. You'll note that it doesn't really matter what I shoot at. I pretty much damage it or ricochet it. Except, of course, Atom, which is an exception because he's got so much armor. But I don't know if it's a special type of round. 2181. Oh, that was the highest damage I've seen in this game. And I'm like slurring my words because it was so crazy. Absolutely insane. Oh, you can really see what people would be addicted to with this tank is this kind of damage. And enemy gets a little bit of damage on us. I'm going to wait for a second, and then we're going to fire and knock him out. Very effective at killing tanks. Very strong in a single life scenario. This was recently buffed. It went from, I think, 480 to 600 per shell. More penetration, 420 millimeter base to like 450 millimeter. I don't know how the charging mechanic affects the pin, if it has any effect at all. I am a newbie playing this and learning it so that I can better express how to play it. I don't like, being uninformed, but I also don't mind being uninformed and working out how to understand the tank / agent with you all, because the community is very helpful and everyone seems to be enjoying the game, so I'm enjoying learning it along with everyone. So we just have inducing our reload. I always like to have 2 in the chamber and then switch to a third. Yeah, here's the Atom. I should definitely have smoked out and allowed him to just sit there. He runs right into the wall and he's staring right at us with his 800. Again, I am terrified of him, clearly. I needed to wait for a second charge. I took a little bit of damage, but note he can see me in a close proximity, so the passive smoke is not ideal. And they finally knock us out, not after doing decent damage. And I could have easily have played that far better, but, that's the learning curve with Ray. Ray has a very exotic form of gun armament, so you just have to understand it. The equipment that you can upgrade, very minimal reload improvement, 5% here, 10% there. We're not talking about 15 and 20, 25% improved to the reload like some autoloaders or other. We are bare minimum of upgrading the gun. So my impression so far is that Ray is very unwieldy and very glass cannon, as you might imagine having this type of gun. Any shots towards Ray are going to do damage, and Ray really can't afford to maneuver all that well. It just doesn't have the ability. Now, the upgrades that I've spotted so far, there are some turret traverse upgrades, some movement upgrades, but there's no real upgrade that I've seen for the gun in the initial. Very minor improvements. It's very shocking, honestly, coming from a defender, going from defender to this type of tank. The initial upgrades are all about like maneuvering and handling and making that feel better on Ray. And I guess the gun upgrades are later. So, effectively, you don't have to, and I'm sure the gun damage is not going to get any higher than this. But mechanically, it could be easier to always have 3 charges, which that in itself is going to hand you more potential damage. What if there's an upgrade, and I haven't verified, I'm just talking. What if there's an upgrade that reduces the self-induced overcharge? Or what if there's an upgrade that makes getting to the 3rd overcharge much easier, mechanically? That's something that would be enough to make it valuable. Or, even maybe I could pause my reload at 2 charges, and then I could click the button again to maybe start the charging, and then I could always have 2 charges ready to go, and then, go for it. So, I always love this position, because unsuspecting opponents on the opposite ridge do not know.
This one should get me promoted.
Oh, it's so dirty. So dirty at that. You better be aware as a sniper, because you might be stared at by a bigger sniper, and just waiting for the 3 charge, and
Stitching up those pieces.
it feels so good. It shouldn't feel that good, but it feels great. And sorry, there's a little bit of lag on the server. Two targets dead in 2 shots. Just love it. Clearly the gun is extremely strong, but I would say Chopper, for example. If Chopper can locate the Ray on the map and use his gunship thing, then he will absolutely devastate Ray. Ray sucks at taking damage, even more than Jaeger, for example.
We're clearly hit.
The warning system leaves a lot to be desired, and I get that you don't want to make it super strong. It can't be as good as an ability since you only have 1 ability. This is like looking at Rocketti with his 1 rocket launcher ability, and that's it. That's the only thing you can spend your energy on. So the only thing I can spend my energy on is smoke, and in this situation, you should definitely smoke, and we got lucky. We actually bounced that round. Not because I played it well, I just got lucky. In this situation, you want to try and smoke, but be careful what you wish for, because, as I said before, this is a smoke thermal fire support tank. There's many of them like this, Jaeger, for example. So if you're going up against Jaeger has every advantage in that matchup because you're just big and bulky, and he is, maneuverable and fast, and he has a decoy that can absorb your shot. So he works really well against you. Now we get a decent amount of damage against that target, but it doesn't really land where I need it to be. So I'm over here considering, do I really want to stay over by A and constantly be shot by the unlimited spawn? This is the issue with a sniper. If you play a sniper and you stay in the same area, you're just asking to be focused. 2200!
I'm good.
Oh, I'm sure he's like, what the heck just hit me? I don't think I've been killed by Ray yet, but I'm going to remember that Ray can do this. I'm not going to underestimate Ray ever again after playing this. But Ray clearly in a aggressive position. We have attacking coming from the side or something like that. I am completely overwhelmed by the situation, so I'm just going to disengage. And I think the best way to play Ray is to have a couple different positions that you take up, because you will inevitably be camping in an area waiting for your charge. Even if you've got the drop on someone, you really hope to not drop on them until you're fully charged, right? So the way you play this is a lot different from that of the Jaeger. Where the Jaeger, you're basically waiting on your aim time, and you're hoping for crits in vulnerable locations. On the Ray, you're driving around, getting your groove on with your gun being fully charged, and you're waiting for the unsuspecting target, but you can't afford to have it set at overcharge very long. So right there, the enemy never came out. Obviously, A is getting recaptured, so we're going to head over towards D point and try and contest. and I just have to land the shot on him before he lands a shot on me. I decide to release the overcharge because, you know, in that scenario, if he doesn't come out, I won't have a way of dealing. And I fire one shot into him. It does not finish him off. And then we
Base secured.
secure the base, and we have to consider where we want to go. The other base in this valley has to be cleared out, so we're just waiting for the clearing. A point, of course, captured by the enemy. And, you know, maybe if I stay up there, they don't capture it. But then I'm not going to have fun. And I want to have fun, and it's about to happen in this match. So we're coming around the corner, knowing full well that this is the situation. Ooh, this guy's pretty close to the edge. I just need one charge to finish him. Okay, someone finishes him off. That's okay. And look at what we've got here. We've got a kill box. And I don't see a Jaeger, so we're just going to sit in our smoke and get the ideal shot. One enemy knocked out.
Bullseye.
Wait for the charge again. Smoke has 3 seconds left on it. And always go for the closest target. Second target knocked out. Go for this third target. Third target knocked out. Just reloading into kills is so satisfying, and obviously it's very strong. But if you miss, you feel like the biggest loser in the game, because you know how much damage this gun does. Okay, so we get a really nice 1,200 point damaging shot on that player. He moves into B point, and I'm gonna try and move in with at least 2 charges against him. Don't really have the best shot, and of course he rotates around. I have to unload this charge, otherwise I'm gonna take too much damage. And this is the risk. If you wait too long to get it, then you're not gonna get it. But the game ends anyway. And that was Ray. Ray is very strong in the shot, but is weak in everything. So obviously you want to take advantage of that. Hopefully this was a cool little exploration. If you enjoyed it, like, comment. Thanks, and have a wonderful day.